Every angler dreams of the perfect day. A beautiful, magical, perfect day. Today on Chasing the Sun, we have that day.
There's a wad of like hundreds of tarpon right here in front of us.
Oh, look at that! Holy cow, look at that fish!
When these fish jump, it's so violent.
Then we walk the plank and discover what's going on aboard the pirate ship Justin is always passing by.
Aye, aye, Captain. Hey, does anybody want to see a dolphin today?
Yeah!
Heave! Ho! Heave! Ho!
Chasing the Sun is brought to you by Dulce Vida Tequila, Engel Coolers, the original high-performance cooler, Florida Fishing Products, Fish Better, Fish Florida, and by Z-Man Fishing Products, the science and art of fishing. Most people who visit Panama City Beach come to relax on the white sand beaches and enjoy the emerald green waters. All year around, it's a familiar sight to see native marine life revealing themselves along the beach. But in the summer, there is another. Silver Kings. It's the time when tarpon are riding our shoreline in large schools on their annual migration. Sliding by rows of condos, they quietly continue their journey, virtually unnoticed by beachgoers. But for anglers who seek them out and thrive on challenge and heartbreak, it's game on.
Got him! There we go! Coming back, look out, look out, he's coming up! Oh, dude! I'm about to jump right there, look! Boom! I got one on me. Oh, look at that! Holy cow, look at that fish! Oh my God! Man. Oh my gosh, oh, I have one too! Oh, there you go! Dang, I have one too! At the same stinking time! Look at it!
That was a big honking fish.
That was a beast!
I couldn't get Travis to come up here and fish with me, so I had to drag up Ricky. Well, I didn't have to drag him very far. He lives next door to me.
Right, have boat, will travel. Let's go.
So I got Ricky to just jump in with me, and which was kind of cool because if I couldn't have Travis here to tarpon fish, one neat thing about having Ricky fish with me is Ricky's like my lifelong best friend, you know, and we actually grew up tarpon fishing together.
So how long have we been tarpon fishing? I don't know.
It was in high school. I know that because I got my first tower
That's
boat
right,
when we
yep.
were in high school.
Yep.
And it started really cobia fishing because we cobia fished more than anything.
That's right.
And we kept seeing these giant silver-looking fish while we were cobia
That's
fishing.
right, yep. And I know you and I both wanted to figure out how we could get our hands on one of those. We've seen it done in the Keys and on TV, and we have it right here in our backyard in Panama City Beach, and we really wanted to figure out how we could get our hands on one and catch one of these awesome fish. So we spent a lot of time doing it.
Yeah. Made a lot of mistakes.
Made a lot of mistakes, learned lessons the hard way, but you know, those kind of lessons stick with you too, so that's always good. My first tarpon was on the fly rod, believe it or not. Probably one of the most difficult ways to do it, but one of the most effective ways too.
And mine as well. And why do you think that is? Because who showed us the first thing we could get a tarpon to bite?
Yeah, my uncle.
Your Uncle Bobby.
My uncle, yeah. He was always big into tarpon fishing. He really helped us out when we were first starting, and I think he had talked us into that was probably one of the best ways to try to catch one of these awesome fish, and that's what we started doing.
So the tarpon is basically the only fish that you can absolutely never get tired of catching. There's a lot of reasons for that. One reason is they're basically like a bomb waiting to go off. When I see a group of fish swimming and I'm reeling a lure into that school of fish, it's the only fish that no matter how long I do it, how many times I've done it, or how many I've caught, my knees still start to shake a little bit, because you know when that tarpon rises up behind your bait, you know he's gonna bite it. And when he starts to close the gap, you just can't prepare yourself for the explosion that's about to happen.
I hate tarpon. Changed my life for this fish because I loved them so much. And then you fish them and fish them and fish them and fish them and fish them, and you realize that I hate tarpon. This is so bad. But they're awesome as long as you're persevering through time and putting in the effort long enough.
You mean they're awesome on those days that they bite?
Yeah, like every 1,000th fish.
And you love them, they're the greatest thing on earth.
Yeah.
And then the rest of the time, you hate them.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, they're never doing what you think they're gonna do. Like 5% of the time they're predictable, the rest of the time they're totally on their own. But they're migrating, so once you realize what they're doing and change what you wanna do to what they're doing, you catch them, right?
These fish that we're gonna try to catch today are the same fish that I fished for last year, the year before. These are very old fish. These fish that make this migration throughout the Gulf of Mexico, some of them are 20, 30, and even up to 50 plus years old. It's really neat to be able to fish for the same fish year after year. And because we take good care of them, you know, we can continue to do this forever. It's a fishery that is very sustainable. We're not looking for little wads of fish of 2 or 5 fish. We want to find these wads of fish that are migrating. It can be 30, 50, sometimes over 100 fish. There's a wad of like hundreds of tarpon right here in front of us. Yeah, I can see them way out there.
There's one right under me right now.
There he goes. That's what I'm talking about.
Got him.
And this week for us, the week after the 4th of July, is typically the peak of the tarpon migration here in Panama City Beach. And when I talk about the peak of the migration, we're not looking for little wads of fish of 2 or 5 fish. We want to find these wads of fish that are migrating. It can be 30, 50, sometimes over 100 fish in one group. And that's what we're looking for today. We're not going to sit tight. We're going to cover some water. We're going to only look for big schools of fish and see how many we can hook down here. Well, we got a full tank. We got about 100 gallons. If we don't catch them, it's not gonna be because we didn't burn enough dinosaurs, in the words of Travis.
So tarpon are like super sensitive to pressure. They don't like noise, they don't like splashing people, boats and all that. And that's why we used to, we'd take a left coming out of the pass and head east because there wasn't as much pressure. Well, it's kind of changed over the years.
When we hit the pass, Justin turned right, and it kind of caught me off guard. What are we doing? But we rolled up. There was a huge wad of fish just right off the bat, right as we passed the pier.
Yeah.
There's a wad of like hundreds of tarpon right here in front of us. So we're just getting set up. I try to estimate my drift where I think we're gonna end up. The wind's kind of blowing us around a little bit. And we don't want to get too close to them. We want to get the motor shut down, just be kind of nice and quiet. There we go, we're shut down. They're right here. Yeah, I can see them way out there.
There's some coming up on me too.
Yeah.
All right, there's one right under me right now.
There he goes. There's what I'm talking about. Well, that didn't take long, ladies and gentlemen.
When you fight a fish, you've always been taught to keep tension on the line or on the rod. Keep a bend in the rod, keep tension on the line, don't let any slack. But when these fish jump and they come out of the water and they do their head shake, it's so violent that you really actually, bow to the fish. You actually aim the rod and point it at the fish and give him some slack so that when he's doing that head shake, it doesn't put any extra tension or pull the hook in a different direction and give him an opportunity to spit the hook.
Tarpon likes to flip, but then not quit. No, sir. All right. Hooks out.
Hooks out. All right. So one thing, you know, people may ask is, well, why is tarpon fishing so much fun? You know, you don't keep these fish, you release them. But the truth of it is, it's really the size of the fish and how the fish fight. So from the moment you hook that fish up, immediately there's an explosion. And Justin knows this from years of doing it. When that fish starts to break the surface of the water and put a hole in the water, there's no way to really explain it or describe it, but everything's right in the world, and that's all that your mind's focused on. Yeah, so the most important thing with these fish is to try to get them back and released as healthy as possible. Whenever we catch them, we try to get them to the boat really quick. Come get the hook out of their mouth, and then get the boat in gear, get some water going over their gills, and get them revived. He gave us a good show, but I think he's ready to go.
Yeah, they usually let you know when they're ready to go.
There he goes.
Hey, that's what I'm talking about. That didn't take long.
Deal.
So the only thing better than catching a tarpon, like right when you get out here, is actually getting your hands on the mouth of that first fish. And then the only thing better than that is knowing that there's two giant wads right here behind us. So we're not gonna sit here and talk for very long. We're gonna try to go find them again.
That's right.
So the most important thing about tarpon is you can't necessarily plan them. When they decide to do something cool and you get the phone call, you gotta go.
Yep.
You gotta go. Whatever you're doing, you gotta drop. It's the most important thing. All those wives out there in TV land are hating this right now. One of the cool things about tarpon is they actually were only in the Atlantic Ocean until the Panama Canal, and they punched through. And
one thing that happens, I think sometimes these fish just fight till they're exhausted. So we actually watched this fish start to swim and then just kind of sink on down to the bottom, and it didn't look like it would make it.
one of the cool things about tarpon is they actually were only in the Atlantic Ocean until the Panama Canal, and they punched through and are on that side over there. But they're Africa, South America, all the same one little group of fish, moving back and forth constantly with the temperature changes, back and forth. And you know, they're super hardy. In Louisiana, in wintertime, the shrimpers will catch the babies in the nets.
No way.
Yeah, it's super cool.
If I had to describe what a tarpon looks like in this emerald green water, it just looks like a black line. I mean, really what we're looking for here is almost like an emerald green sheet of paper, and somebody took a black Sharpie and just put little straight lines all over that piece of paper. That's exactly what they look like. Their back is really dark, they're long and skinny, and when they're swimming down this green bar, oh,
They stand out pretty good.
You know, one of the most common questions I get about tarpon fishing from people that watch the show, clients, everybody is, how many do y'all catch?
Oh yeah.
Catch is a complicated word when you're talking about a tarpon.
It really is. When you're tarpon fishing, there's lots of different stages of catching a tarpon, right?
Yeah.
So we talk about how many eats we got. In other words, how many times the fish came up and sucked the bait down, we just missed him. You know, that's a small victory in tarpon fishing. And then once you hook him up, you know, a lot of times when you're fighting a fish, he jumps 2 or 3 times and spits the hook. And hey, I jumped a fish. That's another small victory.
there we go. Where are you going? Towards the beach. Oh, look at that! Oh, that's a giant! Holy cow! Look at that fish! Oh my gosh! Oh, he's off! Oh, dude, that was a giant mammoth.
Oh my God.
Wow.
But to actually keep a fish on, fight him, get him all the way to the boat, and actually put your hands on him and get to hold him, take the hook out and release him, that doesn't happen very often. It really doesn't.
Oh my gosh! Oh, I had one too! Oh, there you go. That is a big fish. Here it comes. Do it, fish. Look, you just flipped him over. There we go. The Z-Man electric chicken. Look, you got him hooked right on the latch again. You're getting pretty good at this.
Tarpon in Florida are catch and release only. I mean, me and Ricky have caught a lot of them for a lot of years, and we've released a lot of healthy tarpon. And it's really passionate, you know, I mean, to us, to take care of that fish. One thing that happens, I think sometimes these fish just fight till they're exhausted. This fish, when we tried to release it, didn't want to swim off. Luckily, we're right here on the beach in like 6-7 feet of water, and it's gin clear. So we actually watched this fish start to swim and then just kind of sink on down to the bottom, and it didn't look like it would make it.
Come on, bud.
That's when the good captain here took matters into his own hands and actually got in the water and got the fish back up to the boat and gave us another chance to revive it. And so we took a little bit more time with it, got some water going over its gills, and got it to swim away. We really want to try to take care of these fish. It's a great game fish, and we want the future generation to come back and be able to catch them just like we have.
So, in a perfect world, every fish you catch, get them up here, get your glory shot.
That's right.
The face grab, send them on their way. Ricky whooped that fish in about 10 minutes.
Yeah, we got him fast.
That's a good fish. That's
Yeah,
a
we got him
100-pound fish. Fish did not jump.
Yep.
Just pulled and dug. And a lot of times it's healthier for the fish, I believe, to jump. You know, they kind of give up quicker.
That's right.
And we get a quicker release. I'm out of breath. I know you're tired. We're going to have a water break, and then maybe we'll catch another one.
That's right.
Aye, aye, Captain.
Aye, Captain!
Good job. Hey, does anybody want to see a dolphin today?
Did you know that people live in other places?
I know.
Like all over the world.
Hard to beat what we have in our backyard right here.
Chasing the Sun has been brought to you by Latitude Tournament Boats, Humminbird, simply, clearly, better. Pirates Cove Marina, you enjoy the Gulf, we'll take care of the rest. And by Sport Trail Trailers.
So I pass by the pirate ship right here pretty much every day by water coming in and out of the Grand Lagoon right here.
Aye, aye, Captain.
Aye, Captain!
Good job. Hey, does anybody want to see a dolphin today?
Yeah!
Well, little did I know it's one of the coolest attractions at Panama City Beach. My wife and some of her friends took our kids and a bunch of kids on a trip on the Sea Dragon, and when she got back, she said it was the greatest attraction she had been on here.
Heave! Ho! Heave! Ho! Heave!
1, 2, 3.
The crew on here really does a good job with the kids. From the second the kids get on the boat to the second they get off, their minds are occupied. So if you're coming to Panama City Beach and you have younger kids,
You want to see them walk the plank?
this is definitely an attraction you gotta see. All right, Ricky, I've hooked 2 tarpon. I professionally released both of them pretty quickly.
Yeah, that's a good job.
Yeah. How about you?
5 bites.
5?
Hands in the face on 2, jump 1. And then 2 whips, I think.
Did you know that people live in other places?
I know.
Like all over the world.
Hard to beat what we have in our backyard right here. And the best thing about it was we got to enjoy it together and catch it on camera, believe it or not. It's not often we get to fish together like we used to growing up. We both have families and jobs and careers, but today just all the stars lined up and really good day.
Yeah. Fish taco time!